Hello and welcome to Stay Hungry. We've got an episode of Ahead of the Game for you today. Let's get into it. Beautiful. How are you doing, Andy?
Cool. How are you, Fergus?
Really, really good, yeah.
Excellent.
Had a great weekend. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about the C word.
Oh, wow.
No, not that one. And no, not the other one, actually. Not Corona either. Also, although it does have an effect. We're talking about Christmas. Christmas is coming. So we thought we'd talk about some of the mindset when it comes to marketing your business at Christmas time. Because let's face it, lots of people are on a bit of a downer.
Yeah, and especially this year, it's going to be a different Christmas.
Just a bit. Are you going to be still partaking, celebrating? Nuts roasting?
Nut roasting, yeah. Oh, I love good nut roast. Yes, but
what
we don't know.
What will you be eating Christmas Day? Will you be having some sort of fish thing? Obviously, if you're not doing the meat.
No, so I actually did vegetarian Christmas because I've done it I've been a vegetarian all year, but I actually trialed it over Christmas because everyone in my family is basically vegetarian, and Hamish, my brother, does a really good nut roast, so I had that, and it was really good.
Oh, okay.
When I originally said I was going to be vegetarian, I said except for Christmas. That's what I've always said, but I'm not that fussed, to be honest. I'm not going to do it. I just don't see the need.
Turns out that most people don't really like turkey, or they prefer to have another meat.
Yeah,
but it's almost like a tradition, isn't it? And we've always had a turkey and like a top side of beef or something. This year, I think we'll get a crown of turkey because my mum and the mother-in-law will be coming, and they won't eat a nut roast.
Well, to be fair, a nut roast it's not as appealing as a turkey. And don't get me wrong, I love Christmas food, so it's not the easiest thing in the world. And it's going to be interesting this year, obviously, because it's not going to be a big family Christmas, which is one of the first changes this year.
Yeah.
But I think we'll be seeing relatives, hopefully seeing relatives, depending on what they're saying. But yeah.
Good excuse not to see the relatives.
Oh, no, I didn't. I guess for some people, I'm a massive family person. So.
Okay, yes. I suppose we've done the big families, the big family Christmases, and I suppose just chilling a bit. So probably just get the mothers round, and business will be shutting down for a few days. Obviously, there'll be some businesses. Obviously, retail businesses will be open. Christmas will be a booming time for them.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, obviously we're here to talk about the mindset because we do know there is fear out there, obviously about the impact of Corona. That a lot of business owners, won't perhaps be marketing their business like they want to because they'll be a bit worried about what people will say. There'll be that temptation to stay a bit quiet, even though, again, there is an opportunity to maximise their revenue. So basically today, we have a quick chat about how to handle, I don't know how else to describe it, the doom mongers, the naysayers, the troll, the minority of people on social media. They are the minority, but they're still there, and we can't ignore that fact. Yeah. And over the years, you and I, we've seen many a good business owner not market themselves as loudly as they should be doing, because they worry about what other people might say.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And at this Christmas, if they're thinking, all right, well, it's a good time of year for me, Christmas, I need to push myself a bit more, but I'm a bit too worried now because things have sort of gone a bit shit. I'm a bit worried about it. People might have a go at me for being too sales-like, or how dare you make money when people are suffering.
I guarantee you this one comes up. People will be like, why are you being so positive? We've already had it. Why are you being so positive? Or like, why are you celebrating successes? Why any of that stuff? That stuff's all really important. And Christmas is a positive time, and we want that. Everybody wants that. If you're saying don't do it, you're wrong.
Yeah, it's really difficult. So I know we've got another business, and every year when it's Mother's Day or Father's Day, we'll send an email out to all the people on the database with sort of Mother's Day offers, Father's Day news, things like that. Every year, I guarantee we'll get some people really kick off because, unfortunately, their mother recently died or their father recently passed away. And yeah, my dad passed away a few years ago. That doesn't stop me celebrating Father's Day. In fact, I think about my dad all the time, and I probably think about him more on Father's Day. But it's not like it's just that one day a year I think about it. And of course, the reality is, I don't know that your mother died recently, so I apologise that you received this email. But the fact is, there are lots of people out there who are still celebrating Mother's Day. Maybe they've become a new mum. They've become a mum for the first time. And it's a hugely important day to be celebrated. In fact, you can't, and unfortunately, you just can't cater for everyone.
No, and it's just because it's not for you doesn't mean that it was meant in a malicious way. That's the thing, isn't it? It's you're trying to bring happiness and help people and help other people celebrate it, and it's not for you. Not every holiday is for everybody.
No, Christmas, some people are especially like so. My dad passed away in a few years ago now, but in February. So that first Christmas is always going to be a tough one, and of course, every Christmas we think about Dad and stuff. But there are some people out there who genuinely don't like Christmas, or maybe they're a bit alone, and Christmas is a hard time for them. We need to appreciate that. But again, if you've got a message to get out for your business, and Christmas is an important time for your business, you can't cater for those people.
Yeah.
It is a tough one. We're here to talk about solutions, really, and I think a big one has to be that self-education, the fact that the knowledge of how to market yourself, no matter what time of year, is out there. And it comes down to your mindset.
Yeah.
That, you're a Facebook ads genius, Fergus.
I'll take that.
Blow a bit of smoke up your bottom. Facebook ads genius. But if you didn't have the confidence to implement your Facebook ads knowledge, it ain't going to work. And most of a lot of the problems that business owners struggle with, it's up here. And I'm saying this for the benefit of the video, but it's basically up in your head. You obviously you learn a lot. You read, don't you? You like reading.
Certainly.
You reading or podcasting? Where's your source of knowledge? Go-to knowledge?
Everything. I read in the evenings, and when I get burned out on reading, I'll listen to podcasts. I listen to podcasts when I'm driving in.
How do you read books or Kindles or whatever?
I've been. One of the reasons I read books is to get less screen time. So paper, I love a good paper book. But I've also been told to avoid audiobooks purely because I know I'll become addicted to them.
Really?
Because one of the big limiters on the amount I read is my eyes getting tired or me falling asleep, but I could just have it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it would take over my life, to be honest.
So I've literally just started listening to the Harry Potter audiobooks.
Oh, right, okay.
Because we're not doing it. We just finished the latest cycle of watching the Harry Potter films. One of my daughters, we always have tea together, and with Harry Potter on.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
That's big. I think we're going to do that. We're going to move over to not the Hunger Games, or Maze Runner. Okay. The Maze Runner trilogy. Going to start doing that. I know some people say, she needs in the lounge with the telly on, but it's nice to get some downtime. And I'm going to take my daughter to Harry Potter World again. I don't know if is it open.
Where's Harry Potter World?
Is that in Watford? You know the.
I've not been. No,
are you a Harry Potter fan?
Yeah, Kaylee is.
She's not been to Harry Potter World. There we go. That's Christmas sorted, Fergus.
I am a fan. I think not the movies, but the world.
Okay.
It's a good book.
Oh, it's a good day out. All the props, all the scenery, how things are filmed, how the series is filmed.
Oh, I would love that. I love behind the scenes stuff. So
what we do, we go and stay in the Premier Inn in Watford, and usually, literally, it's minutes from Watford town centre, and it's like 30 quid a night. We stop there and then go and do Harry Potter the next day.
I'd do that. That sounds awesome. I thought you meant Harry Potter World in Disneyland. Or Disney World Orlando, because
that's probably a bit better.
That looks amazing.
Although my brother's been to the Harry Potter World in Japan.
Oh, right, okay.
In the Disney over there, so whether that's Tokyo or whatever.
I bet that's intense.
That was just, and unfortunately it makes Watford look a bit shit,
yeah.
He says.
Well, one of my big bucket lists is the Star Wars one they've got in America. Oh my goodness, does that look good.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, they didn't have that. It was just Toy Story.
So are they back open now, Disney and all that?
They must be. To a certain level, I imagine they must be. Because they're way too big to not have a solution to it, right?
Yeah. Mandalorian Season 2, that starts...
And 30th of this month.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, that's how I'm going to be spending my Christmas.
yeah. Big fan after sort of a bit disappointed with the films. Got to say that Season 1 of The Mandalorian, that was awesome. Still excited about Ewan McGregor, the new Kenobi series, if that started filming yet.
I don't think it has. I saw a thing about it the other day, because he's also just done... You're not a motorcycle person, are you?
Oh, he's done Long Way...
Yeah, Long Way Up.
Yeah, I've done Long Way Round, but then he's done Long Way Down as well.
Yeah,
Is it tip to top of Africa or something?
Maybe.
And this one's South America to LA?
From the bottom of South America to LA, yeah. So on electric bikes, interestingly enough. Yeah, so they kind of broach the issue of how you charge them and stuff in a place where there's not the infrastructure. So it's quite cool.
Oh, cool.
Quite interesting.
Excellent. Met Ewan McGregor once. Unfortunately, it's another piss story, but we did a premiere of a film he did. Oh, God, it was set in the 60s. He was like an ad exec, like Mad Men, before Mad Men.
Right.
I can't remember what it was called now. And he got on stage to do some Q&A and met him afterwards. But like I said, I've been drinking. But really nice guy.
I would love to meet. He's on my list.
Very patient guy. but he probably meets lots of pissed fans.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
So, right, I don't even know where we're going there. Right, Harry Potter world, learning, books. Learning. So you like reading, that's cool. We got lots of books on our bookshelves here, although it's not going to be for everyone. Some people like podcasts.
Yeah.
Got some podcasts for you here, apart from ours, obviously. If you're a business owner and you're maybe struggling with mindset, you're a bit worried about how things are going, you're a bit worried about what people might say if you do market yourself aggressively.
Yeah.
A good one is the Kim Constable podcast. She is a very polarising person, like many super successful entrepreneurs are, but she's got a company called The Sculpted Vegan. She's got her fingers in a few other pies, but she's very, very driven business owner. And if you need help with your mindset, that's a good one. The Disruptive Entrepreneur, who is Rob Moore, who we talk about quite a lot.
Oh yeah.
The Gary V audio experience. You a Gary V fan?
Massively, yeah.
Excellent. I know Joel is. Sometimes I struggle with Gary V, especially when he's got a guest. But when I
like his energy.
Oh, God.
If you could just like bottle that up and sell it, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I just feel really boring because I think I just haven't got. Even like on a Monday, well, I'm usually G'd up on a Monday morning. It's like, by Monday afternoon, it's sort of waning unless I've had lots of coffee. But he's all. Do you reckon he's like that all the time, or do you think he gets home in the evening?
He has to be like,
and he's like just totally quiet. And says, "No, shut up. I've had a busy day. Just leave me alone."
I don't know. There are people like that. Yeah, they're just like they're very much set for the day in the camera, but then it's like downtime is downtime. But he seems like he might be someone who's on top of it, but also he kind of seems like the sort of person who's 100 miles an hour at all times in everything.
A lot of energy, and you need that energy because again, sometimes a business will be ups and downs, and sometimes you need someone to pull you out of that trough.
Listening to somebody like him, I think that if you're having a tough day, or you've got to get some ideas together and it's not right there, listening to him, that'll get you in the mood for it, because he's just like, just do it. Just like get on with it.
Any others?
Business related ones. You hit my Gary V. That was the one I was sitting on.
Is that the big one for you?
Massively. Yeah.
Have you started any Rich Roll yet? Even though he's not business.
I've listened to him. I haven't kept up with it. I listened to a handful of them, and it was good. It was good.
He's more, I suppose, if maybe you need winding down a bit, need to chill, but also he's got some really interesting guests about business, about entrepreneurship, but about health and wellness as well. A lot about mental health. He's had some really interesting guests on. So 1 minute you could be listening to the actor-director Edward Norton talk about something, then you could be hearing about a doctor who specialises in longevity to talk about how to defy aging, and then he'd be talking about some super successful entrepreneur. It's just really, really cool guy. In fact, I just bought his book, Finding Ultra, about how ultra running saved him from basically alcoholism and drug use.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, really. Yeah. A lot of the running communities I'm a member of now, it seems to be like sometimes the majority of people are doing it because they've had trouble with other kind of addictions.
Really? I think you touched on that a couple of weeks ago with me. Remember?
A lot of mental health issues that people get help or seem to get help from running or cycling or doing the ultras, these mad crazy events like running 100 miles, 200 miles.
Yeah.
That can't even get my head around. But yeah, so I don't know is Christmas important to you guys listening now? If you're in retail, selling online, I mean, we know a lot of online business, some online clients who Corona lockdown, in terms of earning money, has been awesome for them. Mm-hmm. And they're, to be honest, struggling with the fact that, I don't want to sort of join the pity party and the doom and gloom, because things for me, family's safe and well, that's got to be obviously the main thing, hasn't it? The people in your circles are well and healthy. But after that, it's like,
business is good.
Business is good. We're doing well.
Maybe you're a high street business that's had to recently transition to being online, and now you've got to come up with a plan on not only maybe that's going well, but how do you transfer that to Christmas time? Because obviously a lot of footfall happens around Christmas time, and that's definitely going to look different if it's there at all. Which it will be, but it's going to be interesting what they say about how many people in shops. And
I mean, it's strange, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if have you been to Shrewsbury recently?
When was the last time I went to Shrewsbury? Maybe like a week ago.
Okay. And you see a few empty units around, or were there people around?
Yeah, there were. More than I was surprised actually at how many people there were around.
Because there is, I think, when the shit hits the fan, whether it's recession, lockdown, stuff like that. I mean, there seems to be the whole support local movement seems to get re-energized again. A lot of people are saying, right, local businesses need basically your support more than ever now. So it's good that the high street is still busy, but I suppose there are a few empty units around now. Some businesses obviously have gone under.
Yeah.
But then I saw a new gym's opening, and you think, well, okay, gym, even though looking at the statistics from a health point of view, there's never been a better time to be a member of the gym. If there's one thing that can help you, like it's staying in shape.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the mental health aspect of it as well, and that's really important right now. So yeah,
some of it. I mean, I was reading a report from UK Active, and I think it's like 1.7% or something of corona cases have been attributed to a gym. And generally speaking, if you're a member of a good gym that have got good health and safety procedures in place, to be honest, there's probably not a cleaner place around for you. But yeah, a new gym's opening in Shrewsbury, so you think, blimey. So some people might think there's never a worse time to open a business, or maybe there's not a worse type of business to own. But this company that has, I think, 5 or 6 gyms already around sort of Warwickshire and Staffordshire are opening one on our doorstep.
Good to them.
There is still good news, but I think that gets buried.
Yeah, well, I think it's hard to quantify on the street, on the high street anyway, because I mean Shrewsbury is constantly going through like places shutting down and new places opening up. If you ever went into any of the shopping centres, there's always a unit or two free in there. So it might just be the case that that's the same. And yes, businesses have gone out of business over the last couple of weeks. And
that probably fills your headspace more than the good news out there, because maybe the good news just isn't as prevalent. It doesn't sell as many newspapers. The fact that there are businesses opening, there are fact that businesses are having record years, and you know, it's because people. Well, again, it comes down to sales, doesn't it? People, it's not going to sell newspapers when there's good stuff happening. It's why you know we never set our alarm to wake us up on the hour, and I've talked about that before, because I said to Emma's like, oh, let's set the alarm for 6:30. Yeah. And obviously a lot of radio stations play news on the half hour as well. And I said, no, we either set it for 6:25 or 6:35, because I don't want the first thing I hear is to be the news talking about, oh, let me guess, it's going to be corona, it's going to be how many people have died. Reality, of course, but it's not how I want to start my day.
Oh, do you have is it a radio clock, is it?
We have, I don't want to say her name too loud because she's next door, Ding Dong, for a voice speaker. And Emma likes to wake up to the radio to a radio station. Tend to listen to Chris Evans in the morning. He's pretty cool. He has some good guests on, and he's massively into the whole mindset, mental health, veganism drive at the moment. And I remember Chris Evans from the 90s. Right, he was just caning it all the time. So he's totally revolutionised his lifestyle. So that's how we tend to wake up. Hi there, it's Andy at Codebreak. Thanks for listening to the Stay Hungry podcast. It's business owners like you that keep the wheels of the world turning. Did you know that Codebreak offers a marketing consultancy service? Visit codebreak.co.uk today and book your discovery call with me or Joel, and let's skyrocket your business together. We can't wait to hear about your goals.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, that makes loads of sense. I would never have thought to miss the hour like slot with that. That's
some people are. How news obsessed are you?
Currently, more so than normal. I've got the BBC News app on my phone, which I've never had before. But I only check it like twice a day.
Yeah, so I've got Sky News up on my phone, but I don't have the push notifications.
Yeah.
So I check it when I tend to check it maybe around 4 or 5 o'clock. But yeah, I'm trying to do it once a day, because I mean, some people are news obsessed. They're literally, like my mother-in-law is fascinated by the fact that my life isn't ruled by the news. She just doesn't understand it. It's like, well,
way to live.
Bad stuff's happening, of course, but it's not affecting my business, or I won't let it affect my business. Yeah. And if I let too much news into my head at the moment, it will affect how I perform at work.
You just don't need to be thinking about it. So I guess very similarly, I'll check it. I'll check it in the morning, and I'll check it in the evening. I mean, if you're checking it all the time, you're just going to see the same stuff, because it doesn't update that. You're not getting stuff's not happening all the time. That's like revolutionary or life changing. I just want to see the main headlines, see what's happening with coronavirus. That's the main reason I've got it. Yeah. That's it, really.
And then get on with your day.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think a lot of people, the fear out there for business owners about wanting more sales in, or they've got loads of sales in, want to celebrate that success, and because obviously it becomes self-perpetuating that if they've got good news to shout about, there's no point keeping it to yourself. I'm not saying like go out there bragging about things are marvellous, they're brilliant. Yeah. Corona, what? There are people who are playing it wrong, and we can't be rose tinted about it. But also, if you've worked, I've said this before. I don't know whether it was with you or with Joel recording another podcast, saying that if you've worked hard and ethically to achieve success, then it's okay to be okay with that.
Yeah.
It's okay to be confident. It's okay to let other people know about it as well. And there, you will find people pop up saying, "Oh, what? How can you go on about how business is good for you? Don't you know that there are businesses struggling? Don't you know people are dying?" The sad reality is, people are always dying. How many thousands of people died just in our country from various cancers and stuff? Like yesterday alone, there are always people dying. And obviously, Corona is more newsworthy, for want of a better word, at the moment. But I think if you let these people into your head, if you let them doubt yourself or let it affect, at the end of the day, affect your revenue, it's a real shame.
Yeah, and there's no reason why you can't do it if you're doing it in the right way. Like you said, there are definitely wrong ways to do it. You should. It's never to put somebody else down or say. Oh, the worst examples are, oh, is this bad for you? It's not bad for us. That mentality, that's not great. But if you're just trying to bring some positivity and share your business's success with your audience, that's lovely. That's really nice, and it's beneficial for everybody. Because I wouldn't want to exist online right now if it was all just doom and gloom. It'd be a horrible place.
Yeah, and
everyone would leave.
Yeah, and there's a massive difference between positivity and being rose tinted. Like I say, there is shit going on. You need to acknowledge that. But you also, I presume, your business, it's your livelihood, whether that's protecting yourself, looking after your family, you've got dependents or whatever. So to let people who you probably don't even know, just some keyboard tough guy, put a dampener on your marketing, whether it's Christmas time or whatever, it's just not good.
And that might just be one post too. You might be celebrating a victory there, and you might be helping people out in the next one. You might be doing, who knows what else you're doing to support businesses or the local community right now. So having a mixture of both, completely fine. Got to look after yourself as well.
Absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's about being a little bit less British, shall we say? About be humble, but be positive. And you've got to market yourself. You've got to market yourself during the good times and during the bad times. And if Christmas, again, is a time of year that's, even though it's going to be different this year, maybe even next year, if you've got an opportunity to maximise your revenue, you've got to do whatever you can ethically to do that. Yeah. And whether that's listen to podcasts, books. I've got some books here, made a couple of notes here.
Oh, okay.
A good one, will it make the boat go faster? That's a phrase that you'll always hear Joel and I talking about, but it really is applying yourself, committing yourself fully to the business. About almost like every decision you make, you ask yourself the question, will it make the boat go faster? And if it won't, then you don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's a really good book about mindset, written by Ben Hunt Davis, always forget his name, a gold medal Olympian rower. So
okay. I like the sound of that. That sounds really good.
Yeah, got it on our bookshelf. A really cool guy. Met him. Really awful photo. Rower, obviously, he was about 10 foot tall. So it's a picture of me like stood basically eye level to his navel. But really, and he passed his medal around the room as well.
Oh wow!
Okay. So I've never held an Olympic gold medal before. But yeah, that's how they won at the Sydney Olympics. But they spent 4 years training, and after training, he'll be like, "Oh, shall we go and have a beer? Will it make the boat go faster? No, then we won't go for a beer." And that's how they lived for 4 years. And it was hardcore, don't get me wrong, but just a really good question to ask yourself. If you find yourself as a business decision maker or owner, if you find yourself ever pontificating or deliberating, or was it procrastinating?
Yeah,
it's a good book. Right. So when you're there, like organising your paper clips or whatever, right? Is this making the boat go faster? No, then fucking don't do it then.
How much does paperclip management come into your day-to-day life?
Sometimes when you do shuffle papers or organise your desk and you feel like, oh, that was time well spent. It's like, no.
Yeah, I can see it if you're at the point where it's getting in the way. Like you need to when I clean my desk, it's because there's stuff everywhere and I need to be able to quickly see. But these days, everything's online on your computer, so maybe it's a case of thinking about, well, are you actually using this space at all, or should you spend that time elsewhere?
I know. Yeah, we've moved. I mean, I know some people, they like pens and paper, and I like writing down. I've got a journal, doing my bullet journaling, or just starting to do it now, or bujo, as my daughters call it. Gratitude and plans for today, and what you've got to get done, and prioritising your tasks. But most of our task stuff is now done online, because the fact is, there's too much scope for error when you write tasks down. And if that person, God forbid, gets hit by a bus, right, where are they? What tasks they got? Well, where's their notebook? Who knows? But to have a
how do they write notes?
To have a centralized online source. I mean, to be honest, if you saw my notebook now, you probably wouldn't be able to read half it. My handwriting is just totally gone to shit.
I picked up my old notebook from working here. Right. It's just on my desk at home, and I looked at it, and I just, I'll flip through this. Will be a nice trip down memory lane. It was back pre-Codebreak.
Right.
I had no idea what it was about. I was like,
really?
This is awful. Like, we've come a long way with like talking about that kind of stuff, and
it's something Joe and I used to shy away from, because it almost sometimes, systemization of everything can almost be like sucking the joy out of it. But things have to be systemized to have a scalable business. For a new member, we've had a new member of staff join us today.
Yep.
To be able to hit the ground running. Right, this is how we do things. This is how we set tasks for each other. This is how we set. Brilliant, right? I know where I am.
Yeah,
and everyone else knows.
I think we do it in the right way. That's the thing. It's like you can systemize, and if you don't have the goal in mind of why you're systemizing, you're gonna take all the joy out of tasks and all that. But if you approach it as we do, it's like, why are we systemizing? It's to allow us to have time, and it's to allow like proper collaboration and emergency like cover and all that kind of stuff. If you do it with that in mind, then you're not stepping on the fun and the creative parts, but you're actually empowering them. And that's
absolutely.
the key.
So, I mean, to be clear, I'm all for writing things down in terms of journaling, but when it comes to tasks and priorities, I think online is the way forward. We're using Monday.com, but there are loads. Obviously, now that I've signed up, I'm getting stalked by every online task system in the world. Asana, that's one. I think Slack, I think we tried that before, didn't really work for us, although some people use it. But I definitely encourage it, because systemization, it's key. And to be honest, even in terms of planning your marketing, to know, right, this is what I'm going to be doing, number of posts, times of posting, things that can change over time. But for especially if you're part of a team, for everyone to be working the same way towards a common goal.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
okay, now I got all serious there, Fergus. Right, another book, the E-Myth. That's a good one.
Okay.
The nothing to do with the email. It's the E-Myth for entrepreneur, and it's about the difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. So if you are you're a baker and you open up your own bakery, if you're there still baking the bread, then it would have been a lot easier just to stay being a baker, working for someone else. So it's asking those, and there's a lot about mindset in that as well, and how to market yourself. Another one I got down, Losing My Virginity, Richard Branson.
Oh yeah, that was in the office.
Have you read that one?
No, but I've talked to people who have read it. So
really, because again, he's not as polarizing as Kim Constable. Richard Branson, but still there's a lot of people who don't like him. I think something kicked off about, was he asking for help with his airline?
What was it? It was,
again, made no difference in my business, so I didn't find out more
it was
about
something like that. It was around was it around the coronavirus stuff?
Yeah, I think someone made some sarky joke about, you want financial help for your airline, sell your fucking private island. And it's like, well, that's is that really how to best look at it? But anyway, regardless of what you think about Richard Branson, it's a really good book. I think his old headmaster said to him, you'll either be in prison or you'll be a millionaire. And you just know this is going to be a good book. And it's about how he started up from nothing, and how about it's all about self-publication and marketing and mindset, because he faced some real hostilities when he launched Virgin Atlantic.
Right. What
British Airways did, and to literally try and bury him, allegedly, the mindset, the mental strength he needed to get through that. It's, when we talk about stress and pressure, and obviously it's different for individuals, we've got to appreciate that what you interpret as stress, someone might not see it the same way.
Yeah.
But my God, when I look about the stress he was under when he launched Virgin Atlantic, holy shit!
I mean, I can't even imagine, especially if you've got if that's the
that's
enemy,
your competitor.
Yeah. What the resources alone that they'd have available to, and are very much needing to do. I mean, they have to address that they got a new competitor at that point, especially if it's Virgin.
I mean, what he claims in this book about what they tried to do to bury him and how he fought back. I mean, just unbelievable. I'm big fan of Richard Branson, got to admit. But the fact is, there is stuff out there, and we know business owners that are willing to learn, whether it's about marketing, whether it's about mindset. But unfortunately, we do know business owners out there who know everything. So when they are struggling, you could almost see them just going to struggle more, because they're not they're not willing to accept help.
Yeah, and that one's always been the one that confuses me, because you are an expert in what you do, but that's probably not marketing. Like, so why would you ever want to spend all that mental power worrying about it when you could talk to people who know about it and actually take that stress off you? I mean, we end up talking about that all the time, but we're here to do that for you, so you can actually focus on your business and learning that's relevant for you. Because yeah, you can go learn how Facebook works, but why should you?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I'd probably say maybe a third, rough generalisation there, a third of business owners we speak to know it all.
Yeah.
They might think they want help, and they'll say, "Oh, I need help with this," and then they'll tell you how to do it. I remember this guy contacted me through LinkedIn, and he was saying, "I need someone to look after my Facebook ads." And you're like, "Right, okay, yep, we're the people to help you. I want an ad campaign like this. I think these should be the audiences. I think this, and I want it done this way." I was like, "Well, no, do it yourself."
You built it.
Save yourself some money. It's like, you pay us because we'll use our experience and team and knowledge to do what we think is best for your situation. Now, if that differs from what you think is best, then again, we're not the ones for you. You don't employ a solicitor and then tell him how to solicit.
It's funny. It's funny when you put it in other industries and try and apply that. It's an odd mentality that people land on in that position, because I mean, in that situation, you're gonna guess here, but probably only 15 clicks away from launching that campaign. Like, and in my opinion, it's probably not the right campaign for you. But if you want to test it, go test it. Because I mean,
it's like, yes, Fergus, you're an accountant. I want a new accountant, but I'll tell you how to do it. So I'll tell you how to do the books. It's like, oh my God, yeah, very, very strange. And marketing, I think maybe because you don't strictly need a professional qualification. It's something that a lot of business owners think, well, I can do it.
Yeah.
And some business owners can do it. Don't get some, like Richard Branson, maybe they're just born marketers, or they make that commitment to have other people do the day-to-day whilst they learn how to market themselves better. But other people, they just can't get to grips with it.
Yeah.
They think they know everything. They don't want to read. They'll claim they haven't got time to listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
And we say this many, many times, the 6 words that will kill any business are, we've always done it this way.
Oh.
And when things like pandemics happen, the things you used to do that worked maybe don't work as well as they used to.
But even away from pandemics, you wait 1 year in this industry, everything's changed. Well, not everything, but a lot's changed. If you ever speak to somebody who is one of those people, and some of the hacks and the tricks that they try to play with on Google or something like that, those don't work. They're penalized because big companies are there to make sure that it's done properly.
Well, one of our big lead magnets is a free Facebook PDF we give away. Like, basically, most of what we learned about Facebook condensed into a pretty meaty PDF. I think it's about 12,000 words all in all. But I'm going through it now, and it's, I think, 3 months old, and there's quite a few revisions I'm making. It needs to be updated because, Facebook especially, and to be honest, every social media channel is, on the face of it, free to use. So the downside of that is they can change whatever the hell they like, and you just have to put up with it.
Yeah.
And so there's no point moaning that Facebook had changed their algorithm, or they changed this in Ads Manager, whatever it might be. Well, don't use it then.
That's the lay of the land. I mean,
you've got to keep up.
It depends what Facebook are targeting this year. Like, what's their priorities? Are they making, what's the current one they always say? It's about human connections. But that was a big change, and that changed how the algorithm worked, how you approach your spend on ads, the kinds of content that were so that's when video content was really heavily pushed. And
also, they changed the thing on ads about text and images. That's
a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago maybe.
And Christmas coming, we know that their ads work differently, certainly in terms of costs at Christmas. So that's something to bear in mind as well, that there are some businesses that were paying 50p a click, suddenly shit, it's 5p a click, happy days. But on the other hand, if you got 50p a click, suddenly, it's £5 a click. And you've got to keep on top of it. And
you've got to know what it means as well. So it's all well and good seeing the update. And I saw it on LinkedIn, specifically about the text change. We talked about it the day it came out. And we said it was going to happen. And we were like, they're saying you can do this now, and everyone's going to do it. And it took a couple of days. And then I saw one of the worst ads I've ever seen. I'm not going to name and shame.
Okay. Will I know who they were?
No, it was a big brand.
Oh, okay.
A big brand, not a local one. It was just an image, if you'd call it that, and just text all over it. And the problem with that is it looks terrible. You're pulling your name right next to that horrendous looking ad. And also, as Facebook have said, they still don't perform well. Like, the reason the restrictions were there in the first place were because text-heavy ads don't perform well, and they were trying to help, and they've got rid of it now. So you can play with it. There are some circumstances where that works, and as marketers, we know about that, and we talked about the instances where it's appropriate, where it's not appropriate, and we can. Luckily, we've got a lot of ads running, and we can test what works.
Test and measure.
Yep, because that's our jobs. But if you don't know and you see that, you're like, oh, cool. Okay, well, here's all my information. It's a business card now. It's a
a lot of people I remember said that the final nail in Twitter's coffin was when they did something they vowed they'd never do, is change the character count from 140 characters to 280.
Yeah.
So just because you could now write twice as much as before, that doesn't mean you should.
No.
And loads of people, oh, brilliant, right, I must now fill that whole 280 characters. It's like, really? It's like with Facebook. You do a Facebook ad or a Facebook post. I don't think there is a character limit. But if there is, it's certainly a bloody big one. Sometimes the best ads and the best posts are literally one line.
And sweet, yeah. And we talk about that all the time. I mean, it's a good parallel for it is YouTube. Originally, when it came out, you could only upload a 10-minute video. When they extended it to...
true?
Yeah, back in the day.
Bloody hell, didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well.
But, I mean, they extended it to over... I think it's pretty much unlimited now if you're a big channel. But doesn't mean if you've got 10 minutes worth of content, you're going to shoot for an hour just because you can. Like... Why?
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
Absolutely. And like you say, that testing, it's so important. The last thing you want to do is like have an ad and just let it run. The old days of putting an ad in the printed yellow pages and letting it run for a year. That's one thing. And to be honest, that's dead. That's been and gone.
Dead and buried.
But now you've got this flexibility and freedom to have an ad online that you can consistently test and measure, tweak, edit, refine, and get that cost per click down. Why on earth would you set an ad and just never manage and monitor it? And I can only put that down to time because you're a busy business owner, whatever it might be. So you either need to allocate some resources or obviously use an agency. There we go, cheap plug done. But putting that time into it, and again, especially at Christmas where everyone's running around like headless chickens, it can be a quick way to lose money.
Yeah.
Hey there, Evie at Codebreak here. Fancy top tips, marketing insights and awesomeness delivered directly to you? Sign up for the free Stay Hungry printed newsletter at codebreak.co.uk.
Excellent. We need to get Alex to record one now.
Yeah, we've got an extra voice.
Excellent.
Into that.
I want to re-record mine.
Oh, really? I think yours is great.
I talk about this a lot now, especially when I was listening to one of Joel and I's podcasts at the weekend, and I was like, oh my God, I sound like Alan Partridge. And
wow, okay.
Not happy. Not that I can do much about changing my voice, but so Christmas, quick way to lose money. You don't know what the Facebook algorithm is going to do with your ads. So if you are using Facebook ads, it's a really important time to look at those numbers because they can drastically change. And they could change again in a good way. Happy days, fill your boots, spend more. But if they go the other way, you need to look at something and react accordingly. And that doesn't mean going onto social media and just moaning and bitching about it, because I just don't see why business owners would waste their energy doing that. Because, well, I don't think Mark Zuckerberg's going to read your post on LinkedIn about the Facebook algorithm change. And, I must change it back then because Fergus and Andy aren't happy. So do something constructive and look, okay, well, that's happened. What can I do about it?
So, I mean, we talked about this last year. It's going to be even more relevant this year. But like you said, costs are higher around Christmas. We always try and educate businesses way in advance. Christmas is the time where you need a strategy. Like you need to decide what you're going to do, get all your content ready, and commit to it, and lock everything in, get it all sorted. Don't do anything last minute. Enjoy your Christmas, essentially. But prices are higher.
Are you having Christmas Day off?
Pardon?
Are you having Christmas Day off?
Oh, yeah.
You are? All right, okay. Not sure about that. I'll be the only one in the office again for like the 5th year running.
Christmas Day. Oh, that would be so sad if that was true.
Do you know, obviously, back in the day, we used to manage like 24/7 lots of social media accounts. It's something we pulled away from now. Lockdown taught us that the hard way.
Yeah.
But I remember one Christmas, one of our clients, a mobile phone supplier, they had a special offer running targeting personnel in the armed forces. Basically squaddies, like really, really good SIM-only deal. And it was running over Christmas. And basically, my Christmas Day was spent handling, I can only assume were pissed people, but people asking questions, fair enough, but people moaning about the price. And I think it was like something like £8 a month. It's like, oh my God, how can you moan about that?
Yeah.
But it's like, shit, that's what my Christmas Day was. It was handling those kind of engagements.
Interesting.
And it's a tough on social media. Like you say, you've got to you want to enjoy this time. I'm not saying you just forget what's going on, but to spend time with your loved ones. And it's getting that balance between sort of switching off from social media, but also being aware that if potential customers are going to ask questions, if keyboard tough guys are going to troll you and have a moan, that someone does need to be keeping an eye on it as well.
Yeah, but it's also what you prioritize, isn't it? In the whole, because there's a lot of elements of social media, and if someone's giving you a hard time, yes, the customer experience is important, but also especially if you're the business owner and you're doing that, oh my goodness. But like, I mean, is responding to this person who's clearly not interested in your product, is just giving you a hard time, more important than doing the work, enjoying your Christmas, or actually putting a post out that is beneficial to people who actually might convert? Probably not. And like you said, you can hire people to look after the chats and stuff, but people who are actual real interested customers, way more important.
And there are obviously bots, automated replies, like, if there is a specific way you want people to get in touch, you can use a bot to direct them to that method of communication. Because I think something a lot of business owners are struggling with at the moment is that they've let themselves become too accessible. So they're answering emails, they're answering the phone, they're answering text messages, WhatsApp, Instagram direct message, Facebook Messenger. Have I missed any out?
It could be anything.
Literally. So, I joke about this, but my mother-in-law, she will start one conversation with me on, say, WhatsApp.
Oh, no, I know where this is going.
And then the conversation will suddenly switch to Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
And then it'll switch to text. I'm like, oh my God, Jane, pick one method of communication. So
That's
now,
so stressful.
Well, what we're trying to do with a number of clients now, it's working really well for this one I've got in mind, who she prefers to do everything by text.
Right.
And that's what we tell people to do. So they'll inquire via, say, Instagram direct message, and simply reply saying,
please text.
To make everything more efficient, to make sure we don't miss anything, please contact me via this number here, via SMS. And so far, touch wood, no one's had a problem with it. It's because, there is that little bit of fear as a business owner. You think, oh, but what if that person prefers to use Instagram direct message? So if I don't communicate with them via that, they'll go elsewhere. It's like, that's just a risk you got to take.
Yeah,
it's your business.
Yeah, I think it's a case of, there's all of these tools are available to me, I have to use all of them, and like that's, I think it's what
added to your mental pressure.
Yeah, and that's a very old school way of doing it. Everyone thought they had to be on every platform for one. So I have to have my Twitter, I have to have my Instagram, my Snapchat,
Pinterest.
Pinterest. Like honestly, when I got started in marketing, everyone's like
MySpace.
These are the things you have to cover. And no exceptions. And that doesn't make any sense. And it's the same for messaging clients. And honestly, having one streamlined pathway that they can communicate with you long term, if they're going to be a retained customer, that's beneficial for them too. They know how to get in touch with you. It's simple, and that's it. They don't have to be, it's this type of query. Maybe I should go on WhatsApp. What does that even mean? No.
I still remember back in the day being handed a business card by someone at a networking meeting, and literally one side was just filled with social media logos. Literally, they were everywhere. I think a couple of them I never even heard of.
Yeah.
And there is that temptation to make yourself more accessible, because I don't know where my customer's going to be. They could be on Facebook, they could be on Instagram, they could be on Snapchat, on Pinterest, wherever. But now I think business owners are realising, no, I've got enough to deal with. I've got enough stresses going on. I need to do what's best for me. So if you can only communicate via Instagram direct message, I'm afraid we're not going to be the supplier for you. And and to be okay with that, because if you are getting pulled in many different directions, if you've got, all these different mental pressures as it is, the last thing you need is to have 50 different social media accounts to check.
Yep.
You can't be everywhere. And like we say,
it increases the chance of things getting lost.
Yeah, well, that's a massive commercial point. And it's something we stress in the Facebook PDF. It's like, choose one or two channels and do them really well, rather than be everywhere with a diluted message.
Just be bad at everything or good at a couple of things. Definitely be good at a couple of things.
It's like, Pinterest, does Pinterest have its own communication tool? I don't even know. Is there a Pinterest direct
Honestly,
message?
I've only ever worked in the ads side of Pinterest, so I actually don't know. I guess.
My daughters use Snapchat, and I tried, years ago, getting my head around Snapchat. Do you
hate it.
Do you have an account?
I deleted it like a week ago.
My daughters seem to use it predominantly to give themselves furry ears on their photos.
That's the thing at the minute. Yeah, people love it.
But it seems to be, has it resurged again? Because obviously Instagram stories almost killed it.
Yeah, I think it has. I think there's well, I think it's hung on a lot longer than I thought, and obviously they've jumped onto a thing, like a niche with these filters that have given it some life in a way that it wasn't used before. I don't know how many people are communicating through it as much as they used to. Now it's more of a novelty, but people are still in there. I know my wife still uses it.
Does she?
Yeah. And I can't for the life of me work out why, but she does. So there is still an audience there. And if you, I mean, like, if your audience is on Snapchat and you know that, and that's where you're going to find them, maybe Snapchat is still the relevant one for you. You've got to figure out what actually works for your business.
That's the thing. It's again comes back to that testing and measuring. With Christmas coming, it's like if you are on every social media channel and you are answering inquiries and questions on every social media channel, Christmas is a good time to get your house in order.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting you mentioned business cards. I saw a similar example, not on a business card, the other day, and it literally made me stop and laugh in the street. There was it's a van printing.
Right,
so
okay.
If you have any insight into design, and I've absorbed quite a bit from Joel, and my brother's a graphic designer. Looking at business vans is pretty hilarious.
Right, okay.
But one of the major sins you see, apart from design things, is the same thing on business cards where you throw all of your contact information on the back of this van. This one, they had basically decided that they had like 7 different email addresses, all their social media URLs, if anyone's going to click it, like stab the van. But they had sacrificed their logo size on it, so I didn't know what the company was called. I was looking at it, and it wasn't on the back, and it wasn't on the sides, and I was like, great. Wow. I don't know what you're... The number one thing that you need to achieve is someone looks at it, they know what you're called, and what you do. Neither of those things were achieved, and I was like, what is this?
Wow.
Mental.
Wow. Yeah, there are those temptations. I thought, I mean, I was driving by the van sort of similarly. I mean, I knew what they did, but they had a mobile phone number on there. They had an email address that was like, it wasn't even a Gmail, it was something else, but a free one. It's like, well, okay, so straight away that tells me you're not willing to spend £2 a month to have a business professional email address. But also it's like, your van's driving out. Now, okay, if your van is parked in a car park and someone is walking past, so
that's one person.
I'll take a snapshot of that on my phone and then I can email them. But generally speaking, your van's going to be driving about. So all you want people to remember is your website address, and they can get in touch with you via then, because they're not going to remember your mobile phone number.
How much time do you think people are spending looking at... And also, the best one is if you ever see a QR code. What, are they going to pull their phone out, drive them behind you and snap it? That's not going to happen.
Oh, excuse me. I'm so worried about coughing now.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I walked out of the office the other day and Sue from upstairs walking past, and I just happened to cough, and she looked at me. I was like, oh, don't worry, I'm not coughing consistently, it's just the one off. And it's like, oh my goodness.
Here's my coughing record, please.
Yeah, style over substance. But it is, again, comes back to, I think, that fear that, what if people prefer to contact me via email? What if people prefer to contact me via phone? So I better give them every single way of getting hold of me.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's worse for the customer, because they don't know which is the most effective way. Because you're not saying, this is how to get in touch. This is if you go to my Facebook and messages, you will get a reply. But if they see multiple phone numbers and multiple email addresses, they're like, okay, but which is the one that I'm actually going to get a reply on, and which is the one that I'm going to call and get a voicemail? Because I don't want that. No, I just want a clear path.
Absolutely. We talked about this recently, about the old adage, the customer's always right, and about how that's been flipped, or it's certainly been flipped a lot, and certainly with the younger business owners coming through, it'll be flipped totally. Yeah. It's like, no, this is my business. I want to help people, but I know what I'm sacrificing to run my business. This is how to get in touch with me, or this is what we offer. If you don't like it, fuck off. Yeah. Rather than so sometimes we have to turn potential customers away because we're not a good fit, or again they try and tell us what they want. It's like, well, we don't think that's going to be best for you, and we're not just yes people. Yeah, I don't like it.
I like to think of your social media and your contact stuff as like a shop floor, like a digital one, and the parallels for this is like you got a shop and you've got a front door and you've got a back door, you've got a service door, and you've got some windows. what if someone came up and tried to get through your window? Was like, oh, I just prefer entering businesses through the window. You tell them to get out, they're in your stock room. It's like, oh, I just prefer to see the stock before I go and make it. It's like, no, go in through the front door, where everybody is, where our cameras are. I can see what you're doing, you shifty bugger.
Yeah, the customer is not always right.
No,
I'm trying to think, was that a video or a podcast? Can't remember. We definitely talked about it before, and that's something that maybe not every business owner will be able to get their head around, and it will come back to that confidence in yourself, in what you offer, and. Are people born? Well, not born with more confidence than other people. I think obviously your childhood shapes a lot of that.
Yeah.
I know my parents are both very, very, very conscious of other people's thoughts, and that's something that I know sort of rubbed off of me. That I spend a lot of time worrying about what other people think.
Me too.
And sometimes I think, most loud entrepreneurs will say this about how in fact, it's a Gary Vee quote about how liberating it is when you truly don't give a fuck about what other people think about you.
Yeah.
There's definitely someone Gary Vee kind of level that says
like
this.
Him.
And also being a bastard or being cold, but it's like sometimes you can care what the wrong people think. Like if it's some keyboard idiot telling you about why you're running an ad about Christmas, don't you realise there's a bloody pandemic and people are dying? If you let that person sort of like get through that chink in your armour because oh my god, what if this person's right? It's like, you don't know that person. Could be some troll sat on his backside in Australia or maybe somewhere miles away.
Yeah. He's already trolling some other business. He didn't care.
Yeah,
he didn't care. We touched on that a lot in the Ahead of the Game episode about who you surround yourself in. There's 7 billion people on the planet. Some of them aren't going to like you. And also, you probably don't like them either, so don't care.
Well, yeah, the people you surround yourself with, online and offline, the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, it all helps form some kind of like protective bubble around you. So when some keyboard tough guy does kick off about some good news you want to share with your database, then it almost like bounces off you. Yeah. Because we say, try not to let it bother you, and also don't engage them. We've been doing this so long, we can tell when someone can be reasoned with, when someone maybe has got feedback for you that's actually informative and constructive. Yeah. That's a different kettle of fish. But when there's an idiot that, we can basically spot a mile off, don't try and engage them, because all you're going to do is waste and ruin your evening. Spend that time with your kids.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. If you respond to them, they're getting the reaction they want. You're not getting the reaction you need.
You're feeding what do they call it? You're like feeding. What's that phrase now?
Well, the one you always go to is wrestling with a pig.
Oh, just finished a book as well.
Yeah, I thought it'd be relevant.
Pig wrestling, yes. So one of our clients who's got a book club, they're reading that, or they're going to be discussing that tonight. But Joel knows that quote by George Bernard Shaw is one of my favourites. So he bought the book for me as well.
Yeah.
Read it in one night.
It's a very apt metaphor, to be honest. It's almost always relevant.
Yeah. For those who don't know the quote, it's George Bernard Shaw. It's something like, never wrestle with a pig. You get dirty, and besides, the pig likes it. Yeah. And that's what a troll wants. They want to see you bite.
Yeah.
And even I was listening to a podcast where the guest was Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, yeah.
And even him, who you must think is going to be literally the world's thickest skinned person, he says every now and then someone still gets through to him on social media. Someone will say something that still gets through that chink in his armour, and it bothers him, and he then gets wound up that it bothered him. And so, if Jordan Belfort can get influenced and affected by what people say on social media, obviously we all can, but
just be mindful of it.
Yeah.
Like, it might take you 5 minutes to cool off from how ridiculous it is, but then as long as you recognise that and they're like, actually, I'm not going to respond to it, or I'm going to say, very sorry, that was your experience. We strive to be excellent and help our customers, and that's it.
That's it.
And just walk away.
Yeah. And if they want to carry on, just block them.
Yeah.
That function is there for a purpose. Just block them, ban them, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Because you just don't need people like that. And sometimes, because people tend to move in similar circles, you don't want that fear that, but if I block him, he might realise, or she might realise, and tell all their friends. Well, if their friends are anything like them, brilliant. It's like win-win. Not only have you stopped this idiot, you probably stopped lots of other potential idiots ruining your evening.
And if they tell a sane person that, it's like, you got yourself blocked from a business's page, what were you doing? That doesn't happen to normal people. Like, you're not. Who's that hostile?
Yeah, absolutely. Have faith. Have confidence, and it does. A lot of these the Head of the Game episodes, obviously it's about confidence and mental well-being, and it is those 5 people, there's 5 things you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
That I think is the biggest way to look after. I mean, don't make work for yourself. Like if you're there and you've joined every social media channel, you're posting on every social media channel, you're monitoring every social media channel, as you talked about, you're sort of making a rod for your own back there. So the responsibility does lie with you. Just like if you're letting yourself get pulled into arguments with trolls, again, that is your responsibility. If you've got friends who you're connected with on Facebook who post stuff that bothers you, whether it's political views, racial views, whatever, again, that's your choice to be connected with those people. Just unfollow them or unfriend them.
Yeah, it's out there. It's always going to be out there. There's always going to be trolls. There's always going to be people who are attacking your business in that kind of way, or just attacking businesses. But it's how you deal with it. It's like with the systemization, going back to that as well. It's just like, just think of anticipate it. Just be like, okay, when someone comes in, this is what we say to them. This is why we say it. If they then react in a bad way, they get blocked. And that's how we deal with it every single time.
Yep.
And you can sleep at night.
Absolutely. Processes, they are good. And I think, sometimes if ever I get, pissed off because there's an idiot on social media, my wife always reminds me that those people, they've always been there. It's not like society has got worse. They've always been there, but social media's given them a voice.
Yeah.
Because before, all they could do is sort of like, I guess, write a letter or something. But now everyone's an expert. If you're a restaurant, you'll know that everyone's suddenly a food critic. Everyone's a food blogger. Everyone's a food Instagrammer. Yeah. And it's like, no, you don't know anything. And when someone's trying to, if you're a chef with 40 years experience and you've got some idiot trying to tell you that your food isn't good, and because they've got like 1,000 followers on their food blog, it's like, no, it is like, not empowering is the right word, but when stuff like that, it becomes like water off a duck's back, whether that is literally listening to Kim Constable, reading Richard Branson, whatever it is you can do to make those kind of comments water off a duck's back so you can promote yourself to the best of your abilities. And do whatever it takes.
Absolutely. And it's just recognizing that they're not the majority. If you get one in a year, chances are you've had hundreds of reactions from other people who actually like your business and like you.
Absolutely. That's a good point to wrap this one up on. There will be a minority out there that you can't ignore, but listen to the positivity, have faith in yourself. And as ever, if you need any advice, any tips, books, tips and tricks about mindset when it comes to business, entrepreneurship and marketing, just drop us a line through codebreak.co.uk.